in Oxford. She just got the captain of Instructor. She's all the captain. Oh, wow, that's good. Yeah, she kept going with test fees. But she came and said, we can work this. She did the same test for sergeant. Sergeant, when he was taking for lieutenant, it seemed like a waste. Wow. So everybody moving up to lieutenant. Get to all this. New sergeants. Not so much. But we get like no work.
Hey,
What you think?
could have been better, but if it could have been worse.
Yeah,
You know, I think if you read between the lines, it's like, okay, I see what she's trying to do. I don't think it came over as well as she thought it might have, or maybe that wasn't her intention. I don't know.
She told me, I think I said that to you, but it's like, call me if you have any questions. No, I'm good. I'm totally good with that. I got no questions. Email and G30.
And that's all. And so it's just muted on yours, but no, it won't be able to.
Thank you.
I think we just have to be fine. I think that's what. Yeah. It has to be. Like, yeah, stuff.
Good morning. I call to order the October 23 Tennessee Post Commission Board meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look through the agenda? Any additions or corrections need to be made to the agenda? If not, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve. Mr. Wright.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wright, seconded by Commissioner Russell. All in favor of the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the agenda stands. Do we have any administration matters that need to be taken up? If not, okay, roll call.
Commissioner Beverly,
Here.
Commissioner Carter. Here. Commissioner Cherry. Commissioner Green.
Here.
Commissioner Halsey.
Here.
Commissioner Isbell.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Spangler.
Here.
Commissioner Wagner. Here. Commissioner Wright.
Here.
Vice Chair Faulkner.
Here.
And Chairman Parton.
Here. Disclaimer.
All post commissioners have previously agreed to recuse themselves from any vote that would constitute a conflict of interest. The most obvious of these would include issues that involve our own departments or some we know personally. Because we have already agreed to this, it should be noted that on routine matters, it will be assumed non-verbally that these commissioners have abstained from the vote. In bigger, more controversial issues that may have an overt conflict of interest, it may have an appearance of impropriety. Those applicable commissioners will still verbally abstain from those votes.
Thank you. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from September 15th meeting? Does anybody see any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve. Spangler.
Have a motion to approve,
Second.
second by Isbell. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion carries. We do not have any decertification hearings for the month of October. It'll take us over to page 3 of the docket. Prepared for the Commission for Waivers of Pre-Employment, Gallatin Police Department.
The Gallatin Police Department requested a criminal record waiver for Kasim Wayne Barnes, hired September 18, 2023. In April of 2004, Mr. Barnes was arrested in Knoxville, Tennessee for theft of property. In May of 2004, Mr. Barnes pled guilty and was convicted of the charge. Mr. Barnes has since satisfied all court-ordered sentencing fines and fees.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you identify yourselves, please?
I'm Kasim Barnes.
Okay.
William Searle, Assistant Chief Gallatin PD.
Okay, Chief. Good morning. Welcome for being here. If you would, Chief, if you could explain to the board what you found in this investigation.
Yes, sir. We had hired, Mr. Barnes came to work for us as a co-responder on a mental health grant in September of 21. And in April of 22, we took him into our reserve officer unit. And he served as a reserve officer from then until 23 when we promoted him to a full-time police officer. At that time, we learned that we should have had a waiver on this charge we had. It's my understanding that someone had checked and loaded into a CADIS, and at that time that we were told that they need a waiver, which I didn't understand, but misunderstanding on my part.
Okay.
Yes, and we just decommissioned him immediately. He has been decommissioned up to the point of this hearing.
Okay. Is there any questions from the board to representatives from Gallatin Police Department reference this matter? Mr. Barnes, oh, I'm sorry, you're recognized, Commissioner Russell.
Commissioner Russell, how's his work history been?
He's actually one of our, as a co-responder for us. Of course, he came on scene and did all our 401s or anything we needed in that aspect. He also has been a CIT instructor for us for this 2-year period and been a great asset to us as far as our reserve department and full-time officers in that instruction.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Barnes, could you go over the situation here? It looks like it's 2002 and 2004. Could you kind of go over with the board?
Yes,
About this.
2002 situation, I believe that was when I was still in undergrad. That was a situation where I had asked a friend to help me pay a situation so that I could register for the next semester. I think that was my last semester in school. And I borrowed the money, but it turned out that he had used a stolen credit card, but because it was my student account, it came up under my name. And so when it was found out, it was my student account. And so I was the one who was held responsible. I took responsibility for it because it was my student account. I paid the restitution. I took responsibility for it and paid the money back. The 2004 situation was me writing 2 bad checks, 2 worthless checks to Walmart in a time of desperation to pay for food and household needs. And again, I paid the restitution, paid the court costs, stayed out of Walmart in Knox County for the 1 year that I was asked to stay out of Walmart, and then stayed out of trouble since. Haven't had any problems since that time. I had to address the situation when I got my license for my professional counseling license, so it was addressed at that time as well. So I was not surprised when it came up again as trying to get commissioned and certified as a police officer. So I knew it would come up again at some point if it ever came up again. So I'm not surprised.
Did you disclose this to the Gallatin PD on your application?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Questions?
I just want to make note, we did load it into a CADIS in 22 when he was put on reserve. So it was in a CADIS the whole time.
Okay. Questions of the board? So you recognize Commissioner Posey.
Thank you. What was the amount of the 2 bad checks, and did you know you didn't have the money in the account when you wrote them?
I think they were each under $500. I don't remember the exact amounts at this point in time. They were almost 20 years ago. But I do know that they were each under $500. I did know that they would be worthless checks. Again, I was 22, maybe 23. So at this point, I'm 42. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I'm just young, kind of desperate in a desperate situation. Not trying to make an excuse for it, but it was a decision I made at the time. If I had to do it all over again, I would make a different decision, obviously. But it was a decision that I made when I was in my early 20s.
Commissioner, I do have that information. It was one check was $267 and one was $275. Thank you.
This is my understanding that you were served with just a criminal summons on the checks. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you were not booked or fingerprinted or anything like that?
I think I was fingerprinted. I don't remember exactly. I think I was in looking for 12 hours, I believe. I don't quite remember.
Further questions?
Commissioner Wright made a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wright, seconded by Commissioner Carter. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you and good luck, and hope everything works out for you.
Thank you.
Moving on, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office.
The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office requests a criminal record waiver for Jeffrey Joseph Gwyn, hired June 21st, 2023. In March of 1990, Mr. Gwyn was arrested in Pinellas County, Florida for underage possession of alcoholic beverage. In April of 1990, Mr. Gwyn pled nolo contendere and was found guilty of the charge. Mr. Gwyn has since satisfied all court order sentencing fines and fees.
How old was he when this, was he over 18 and under 21, or was he?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay,
I graduated high school getting ready to ship off into the Army.
okay. I take it you're Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's got representing you?
Sergeant Durham,
Okay,
Hamilton County.
all right. Sergeant Durham, can you go over with the board? Did you find any outstanding paperwork or anything in your investigation?
No, sir, it was, excuse me, he had already had a waiver from post for this, it was a disorderly conduct charge. But at the same time, he was also charged with the drinking underage or underage possession. So the waiver was initially for the disorderly. It was the same event, same incident. But we found that once we sent his paperwork to post, he did need an additional waiver for the second conviction for the underage alcohol possession.
Okay, so he's already received one waiver. It's just both charges were not combined.
Yes, sir.
But they occurred at the same time. Is that my understanding?
Yes, sir.
And this happened back in 1990?
Yes, sir.
That's been a good while ago.
34 years ago, sir.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yes, sir, I did. And that's everyone's asked, why haven't I had it expunged? And because it was a learning, it changed my life. It was a pivotal point in my life.
Yes, sir.
I was a young kid. I was getting ready to ship off in the Army. I was having fun. My last hoorah. And but that's why I told Hamilton County, I've told every agency I've ever worked for, I've kept the waiver in my file. I did not know I needed to disclose to them. It was the same incident. They had two charges. I did not know. I thought the one waiver was good for the whole thing, which we found out it wasn't. But it was a pivoting point in my life, and it's made me who I am today, getting out of trouble for the last 34 years.
Okay. Questions of the board?
Question.
You're recognized, Commissioner Foley.
Okay, this is for pre-employment, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he's wearing a sidearm and a badge.
He was employed. Unfortunately, we had a shift in GDIs between when this process started, and when I took over. His stuff was sent to post for approval through a CADIS by the former GDI, which was Lieutenant Merkel, who's retired now. And there was apparently a loss in paperwork or something got miscommunicated, because when I reached out to try to find out had he been approved yet or not, that's when I found out we needed to go further. That's why we're here today.
Okay, so what is his function with your
He will be
department?
a school resource deputy, is what he was hired for.
So that's what he's doing now?
That's what he will be doing if he's approved now.
Okay, well, what's the badge say?
He's sheriff's deputy.
I think there might be some confusion with the board. When was this first waiver done?
The first waiver was done in 1999.
And you've been how long have you worked with the?
Well, I've been in law enforcement off and on for the last 7 years. I've got 7 years of law enforcement. I started with Etowah, where I got my waiver, Etowah City. Went to McMinn County for 4, and then got out for a while, and then went to Bradley County before coming to Hamilton County.
Okay, so it's my understanding you in your first employment, you dealt with this waiver, but they left a charge off.
Correct, sir.
Okay, and we're clearing this up.
Yes, because it was just found that charge wasn't there through Hamilton County.
And involved in that first waiver. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Other questions? What's the board's wishes?
Beverly, motion to approve. Commissioner Ronnie, second.
Have a motion to approve. Second, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mount Juliet Police Department.
Mount Juliet Police Department requests a criminal record waiver for Devin Robert Foley, who will be hired November 20th of 2023. In August of 2012, Mr. Foley was arrested in Riverside, California, and convicted of DUI. Mr. Foley has since satisfied all court order sentencing fines and fees.
Good morning. Can Mount Juliet Police Department representatives identify themselves, please?
Yes, sir. Sergeant Corey Cook.
Okay.
Devin Foley.
Okay. Can you go over with the board what you found in this pre-employment investigation?
Yes, sir. During our background of Mr. Foley, we learned he had suffered a DUI in 2012. He was currently active in the military at the time. He was arrested, charged, convicted, took care of all his fines, court costs. He served all his schooling and repercussions through the military. He was since employed, I think, for 2 agencies in California before seeking employment here in Tennessee.
Does anybody have any questions for the department representative? Mr. Foley, can you go over with the board the circumstances that led to this DUI?
Of course. So I was home from a combat tour from Iraq in 2012, home visiting family. Met up with some old friends at the bar. I was under the impression that I was okay to drive, which I clearly wasn't, and talk about the worst mistake I've made in my life. Since then, I have not made that mistake. I'm a one and done individual. I returned to the military, told them what I did, since gained rank back, and then some, got out, and then became a police officer with the Sergeant Cook previously said with 2 different agencies, and got out to make good years with both agencies. And like I said, my drinking habits have changed. As soon as I saw those lights in my rearview mirror, I realized I just put my life, along with others' life, and my future in jeopardy, and I haven't done that since.
So you worked for San Bernardino County in California?
Yes, sir. Currently employed with Escondido in San Diego County.
And did the state of California bring you, did you have to go before their board reference this arrest?
No, sir. I just had to talk about it in my hiring process.
They probably do things a little different out there.
They have access to all those records.
Questions of the board? You're recognized, Commissioner Wright.
Commissioner Wright. Mr. Foley, thank you for your service. This board kind of sets on time. Some of the numbers set on a kind of a timeline of how long prior to the DUI was, and obviously your service and service in the state of California. I'd like to welcome you to the state of Tennessee, where we do things a lot different than California.
It's a lot different. My family has been here for 2 months. I relocated them a couple months ago. Hoping I'll be employed with you all, and they love it. I can't wait to come back out.
Welcome to Tennessee again, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Green.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wright, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Have one? No. Motion carries. Thank you, and again, welcome to Tennessee, and we look forward to you giving us a good service here.
You will get that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Moving over to page 4, Oakland Police Department.
The Oakland Police Department requests a military discharge waiver for Jorge Eduardo Gonzalez, hired October 6th of 2023. In August of 2022, Mr. Gonzalez was discharged from the United States Army with an under honorable conditions general discharge with a separation reason of pattern of misconduct for refusing the COVID-19 vaccination.
Good morning. Can both of you identify yourselves, please?
Good morning. I'm Jorge Gonzalez. Yeah, of course.
Larry Gaines, Assistant Chief.
Okay. I guess you can, this pretty much explains the situation here in the paragraph, but we would love to hear a little bit of your story.
Yeah, so when the COVID vaccine got mandated by President Biden, I refused to take the COVID vaccine, which resulted in my discharge from the military for disobeying orders. And that's the reason why I got out with a pattern of misconduct with the general under honorable conditions discharge.
Okay. Questions?
No, go ahead. Mr. Russell, I just want to say thank you for your service, Mr. Gonzalez.
You're recognized.
My turn. I've
Your
got
turn,
a right
sir.
to find right button.
You're recognized.
I just, I want to say I appreciate you taking a stand on your own convictions. I've never seen in this country the medical tyranny that came out of 2 years of dealing with that. And I wish everybody in the military had done what you did. And people accuse me of being a conspiracy theorist, but there is a benefit to that. You don't have myocarditis. So I just want to tell you, I appreciate you taking a stand for your own sovereignty.
Yes, sir.
It's a good thing with that. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Mr. Ryan, I got one thing. I guess you lived in Florida at the time?
When I got out of the military,
Yes.
I was in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle,
when I got out of
Washington.
the military.
How long have you been in Tennessee now?
About 4 or 5 months, sir.
Buckner, Tennessee.
Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Welcome to Tennessee.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too. Is Scott County Sheriff's Office online by chance?
Yes, sir, we're here.
Okay. Sir, we'll give you the option. I know there was a misunderstanding probably on our part about dates and being here, but do you want to move forward this morning, or do you want to come to East Tennessee to the meeting at Gatlinburg next month?
Sir, I will leave that entirely at your discretion. It is entirely my fault that we are not present today. I own that responsibility. I've been in there a week, and simply there's no excuse. We should be there, and we're not. We are prepared to go forward today. Mr. Rosenbaum is present with me here on this meeting. We are also 100% willing to attend the meeting next month at Gatlinburg.
Well, since you're online, the chair's going to make the call here, and I'm going to say let's proceed on. If Mr. Rosenbaum could identify himself to the board and explain to us what happened with the U.S. Navy.
Hello, my name is James Rosenbaum. I was in boot camp in 2018. About halfway through it, I was struggling mentally. I was 19 years old, and I really wasn't prepared for the whole boot camp experience. And I explained to my chief that I was going through a depressive episode that was brought on from being in that environment. And I was separated shortly after I explained everything to my chief.
Well, how do you think your mental stability will be going through boot camp of law enforcement?
Sir, I've had 6.5, almost 7 years since that incident, and I've done a lot of maturing since then. I've worked for the Sheriff's Department being a correctional officer. I've been put through some pretty strenuous situations, and I've overcame and did my job to the best of my abilities. And I think that I'll do great. Like I said, I've had a lot of time to mentally prepare and mature since then. And I just love to be given the opportunity to make.
Questions of the board? This, what was the code on that? Discharge, is that a,
What about character? Are you talking about the separation? JSC.
can I ask a question?
Yes, you're recognized, Chief Oakland. Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Law enforcement is a very stressful profession. And not only is the entry-level training stressful, as it should be, but the day-to-day activities of a police officer are extremely stressful. What safeguards do you have built into your life to help deal with that stress?
You said safeguards, ma'am?
Yeah, I mean, how do you handle it in your life now? You're a correctional officer, right?
I was, ma'am, yes.
So how do you handle the stress in your life or depression?
And when I was in the military, I seen medical professionals for the depression, and I haven't had no depressive episodes at boot camp. I usually, I live a good life at home, living with my mother, helping take care of my siblings. I have a very happy life. In terms of stress, I can handle stressful situations. I've never been depressed ever since then. I've been doing pretty good, ma'am.
Commissioner Green, what job do you currently hold?
Say again?
What job do you currently hold?
Currently, I'm going to college full-time.
What work employment have you had since leaving the military?
I've worked for the Scott County Sheriff's Department as a correctional officer, and then moved up to Michigan, and I worked as a correctional officer up there for over a year. And since then, I moved back down here recently to help my family out. Been employed by the Scott County Sheriff's Department, and then after that, I worked for Cook's Pest Control, and then I started school full-time while I was part-time.
Thank you.
I was looking under the JFC code itself in the detail, and it basically is kind of one of the ones that pops out is just inducted in error. In other words, it says I made a mistake and I jumped into something I didn't know what I was jumping into, so it doesn't have any misconduct or anything. It's just, the erroneous enlistment that just kind of a bow out.
You didn't feel like he was fit for.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't fit for each other is basically what it says.
Mr. Rosenbaum, did you get a waiver for corrections? I'm sorry, you cut out.
No.
I did. Scott County, do you know if he went before the TCI board and got a waiver for when he was hired on?
After speaking with our jail staff, it is our understanding that he did not. And according to my jail captain, they not fired him.
Someone in Michigan, he probably had that.
Yeah. Do you know if he had to have one when he went to work in Michigan? I'm not exact. I'm sure their law is very similar to ours.
I would imagine, sir, but I do not know that information. I do know that Rosenbaum and his time in our jail served admirably, and he was above reproach during his time here. We do believe Rosenbaum will be an asset to our department. Service.
Okay, you broke up some. How long did he work in the jail for you at Scott County?
Worked in our jail for a little over a year, and I think he worked in Michigan for about the same amount of time.
Okay, has he been through TCI Basic?
He has.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got one.
You're recognized, Commissioner Wagner.
What age were you when you enlisted in the Army or the Navy?
I was 19, sir.
And how old are you now?
I am 24.
Other questions, concerns, or comments?
Beverly, motion to approve.
Commissioner Beverly has made a motion to approve.
Second, Isbell.
Have a second by Commissioner Isbell. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
I hear more ayes than I hear noes. The motion carries. Motion passes. All right. Good luck, young man.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Moving on, waivers to attend another academy.
The Coopertown Police Department requests a waiver to change academies for Troy Arthur Hickman, hired September 18th of 2023. In May of 2022, Mr. Hickman attended the Metro Nashville Police Department Lateral Academy, but did not complete due to resigning before completion of the academy. Coopertown Police Department is requesting the waivers so that he may attend transition at the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy.
This is for transition?
Yes, because
Apparently he's lateral.
transition, well, it's a substitute for basic, so he has to have the waiver.
Okay. Good morning. Can you identify yourselves?
Yes, sir. My name is Troy Hickman.
Okay.
I'm Sergeant Justin Parker with Coopertown Police.
Okay. Mr. Hickman, can you explain to the board the situation here in between the academies?
What I've done since, sir?
Yeah, or why you bowed out on one and at Metro, or you did a lateral academy but did not complete, resigned before completion. Why did you not complete it?
It was just personal. I was retired military, worked for 10 years in law enforcement in California, and was relocated to Tennessee.
Okay.
My wife has already been out here for about 2.5 years. I was following behind her. I made a decision to retire and move out here. Personal decisions, personal things happened, so I went back to my previous department, completed about another 6 months, actually prepared for retirement to leave and transition out here. Came back out here, been living here about 10 months, and applied to Coopertown. I wasn't aware, and I was in good standing. I was passing everything. I was there for about 3.5 weeks and decided I needed to return back, so I withdrew from the academy and went back to my former place.
Okay. Questions of the board?
Commissioner Wright, thank you for your service and welcome to Tennessee as well. I guess I keep that theme going today because a lot of Californians. I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Green. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir, and welcome to Tennessee.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Decatur County Sheriff's Office.
The Decatur County Sheriff's Office requests a waiver to change academies for Alexander Christopher Leaport, hired August 21st of 2023. In February of 2022, Mr. Leaport attended the Metro Nashville Police Department Training Academy, but did not complete due to voluntarily withdrawing because of family obligations. Decatur County Sheriff's Office is requesting the waiver so that he may attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Is Decatur County represented this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning. Can you identify yourself?
I'm Captain Tim Rowan.
Okay. All right. Can you go over and explain to the board why you dropped out of the other academy?
Yes, sir. So going into academy, we found out that my wife was pregnant. I was spending close to 16 hours away from home between the drive from Hermitage to the academy and back. So my wife was growing more stressed out from being pregnant, and she was needing help around the house. and I was basically paid there for her because I was attending the academy. So I made the personal decision to drop out of the academy to assist my wife. I got another job at Troubadour working private security.
Okay. Questions of the board?
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Second, Halsey.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to page 5.
The Ripley Police Department requests a waiver to change academies for the following officers who were injured shortly after beginning training at the Knox County Sheriff's Office Regional Training Academy in August. David Brandon Garrett and Natalie Lee Lawson. Due to staffing shortages and class availability, Ripley Police Department is requesting the waiver so that they may attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy in January of 2024.
Okay. Ripley, are you present this morning?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. Do you have any additional information to add to this?
Besides what everyone else is going through, being a small town, we are facing a severe shortage at our department. We would really appreciate these officers being able to go to Toledo to be able to finish their training. Because if we have to wait, it will be April of 2024 before we can get them back into another academy.
Any questions of the board? Chair will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner Jackson, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Union County Sheriff's Office.
The Union County Sheriff's Office requests a waiver to change academies for Grundy Lee Buckner, hired September 11th of 2023. In August of 2004, Mr. Buckner attended the Knox County Sheriff's Office Training Academy, but did not complete due to medical issues. Union County Sheriff's Office is requesting the waivers that he may attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Okay. Is Union County present this morning?
We're here.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
All right, can you go over with the board, are these medical issues cleared up, or is there anything to add to the record?
As far as I know, they are cleared up, and Mr. Grundy Buckner has been an outstanding employee with us since we hired him September the 11th. He has been riding with the patrol sergeants and doing a fine job. All of them speak highly of him. His job duties here are going to be an SRO when he graduates the academy, and he's excited. He's well put together. He lives here in our community, and I believe he'd be a long-standing deputy.
Yes. For the record, can you identify yourself for our reporter?
I am Detective and GDI Philip King.
I'm Grundy Buckner.
Thank you. Questions of the board?
Commissioner Wright.
You're recognized.
Mr. Buckner, this was back in 2004 when you went to the Knox County Training Academy?
Yeah, I believe it was 2004. I was working for a UT Medical Center at the time. They're the ones that sent me there.
I guess there's like a 19-year gap there. We don't usually see that big of a gap before somebody's wanting to get back into law enforcement or had an academy issue. What have you been doing for that 19 years?
Over the 19 years, I've been in corrections with Knox County and Anderson County Sheriff's Office. My family also owned a business that they recently sold.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wright.
Commissioner Russell, second.
Commissioner Russell, second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Waiver of basic training and specialized substitutions for in-service and training. Post Commission has approved 28 post-transition schools and waivers and all corresponding supporting documents. If you will see attached on pages, for the record, pages 5, pages 6, and the top part of page 7. Is there any questions or concerns with the attached names and agencies? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Green. Do I hear a second?
Commissioner Wright, second.
Have Commissioner Wright as a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Moving on to administrative waivers. Waivers of in-service, we have none for this month. Waivers of the 6-month rule, Clinton Police Department.
The Clinton Police Department requests a 6-month waiver for Gideon John Cobb, hired May 8th, 2023. Mr. Cobb was scheduled to attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy in October of 2023, but was unable to attend training due to medical issues. Mr. Cobb is scheduled to attend Toledo in January of 2024.
Any questions on the 6-month waiver? If not, Chair will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Posey. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Page 8, Grundy County Sheriff's Office.
The Grundy County Sheriff's Office requests a 6-month waiver for Joseph Kyle Collins, hired June 6, 2023. Mr. Collins is scheduled to attend the Cleveland State Law Enforcement Training Academy in January of 2024.
Mr. Director, I'm going to make a motion to put this at the heel of the docket. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second, Ryder, second.
Commissioner Rainey, discussion on the motion. All in favor of moving this to the heel of the docket indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll put that back with the, down at the end of the docket with the other Grundy County matters. Hamlin County Sheriff's Office.
The Hamlin County Sheriff's Office requests a 6-month waiver for Kalen Drew Hunt, hired January 17, 2023. Mr. Hunt has been unable to attend training due to agency staffing shortages. Mr. Hunt is scheduled to attend the Walter State Law Enforcement Training Academy in October of 2023.
Any questions or concerns with Hamlin County Sheriff's Office request? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve.
Spangler, second.
Spangler, second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Humphrey County Sheriff's Office.
The Humphreys County Sheriff's Office requests 2 6-month waivers for Cody Allen Pearson, hired March 13th of 2023. Mr. Pearson has not begun training due to the agency delaying the start date to evaluate his performance more closely. Mr. Pearson is scheduled to attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy in January of 2024.
Any questions or concerns? Chair will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Posey. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Waivers of 8-month rule, none. And waivers for medical this month, none. Moving over to page 9. Waivers for military leave, we have none. Applications for training officer, the post investigators have reviewed and approved 2 applications for training officer that met all the criteria. Any discussion on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Wright, motion to approve. There's second.
Second.
Second by Russell. All in favor, or any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And 1 abstention. Duly noted. Moving on to page 10. Applications for certified instructor. The post investigators have reviewed and approved 20 applications for certified instructor. The instructors are listed down below in their departments. Any questions or concerns regarding what the post investigators have approved? 20 applicants for the number. Now, Chair will make a motion to approve. Attached to the list of the agenda record.
Commissioner Wright, second.
Commissioner Wright, a second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized, sir.
you know one more extension on that one.
One more abstention for the record. Spring City Police Department.
The Spring City Police Department requests a waiver of Rule 1110-03-0.04A1 from Miguel Antonio LeBoy. Hired December 7th, 2020, Mr. LeBoy became a post-certified December 9th, 2020, and has less than 5 years' experience as a full-time law enforcement officer. The agency is requesting to substitute Mr. LeBoy's experience as a military police officer to meet the requirement for specialized instructor certification. So just to clarify, the rules state that you have to have 5 years of full-time law enforcement experience in order to be a certified or post-certified instructor. So he's requesting that that time as a military police officer be used to substitute. And the rules do allow for the post commission to take that into consideration.
Do we know what specialized instructor certification he's seeking as opposed to general?
That I do not know. Let's see if I can find that.
It's firearms.
Sir, we're here from the Spring City Police Department.
There you go.
Oh, good morning. Can you identify yourself?
I'm Chief Roger Day.
Okay. Chief, can you go over with the board kind of what this officer's, what he's specialized in the military that might seek this waiver?
Yes, sir. First, I apologize for not showing up in person. We're a small town, and it's a stress for two of us to leave at one time. But if it's all right with the council, Miguel is sitting here with me. If I can just let him give you a little bit of his background.
That would be great.
Yes, sir. I was a military police officer for 5 years. During that time, had a 19-week basic in AIT for basically the academy while I was there. From there, I worked the road as a police officer on the base and also deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. While in Iraq, we served and trained the Iraqi National Police in Mosul, where we did firearms training with them, basically put them through an academy while we were there.
What do you plan on training on or specialized instruction at the police department?
Firearms instructor.
Firearms instructor. And I assume that you had plenty of firearms training and instructing while in the military?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Wagner makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Commissioner Green second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Moving on to page 11. Post investigators have reviewed and approved 103 in-service and specialized training classes this month. They are all in order, meet or exceed the minimum standards set forth by the Peace Officer Standards and Training Requirements. They have made note of all these training officers met the post requirements for firearms, EVOC, mental illness, and CSA. Any discussion? Chair makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wagner. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, old business, Grundy County Sheriff's Office.
Grundy County Sheriff's Office, the commission to receive a follow-up report regarding agency deficiencies found during the post-investigation and to determine action for incomplete pre-employment files submitted by the agency. And I believe that last month we had talked about the officers for the salary supplement and what we found when they submitted that paperwork to us.
Question.
You're recognized, Commissioner Wagner.
Didn't we move something to the Grundy County for the?
We did, and I think based off what's in the packet here, we would we'll address that as it comes to the end of this segment. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Sheriff, can you give us your follow-up report?
Yes, sir, I can. I have, all of our officers are inside of CADIS. I have one that's part-time, that's not certified. He is riding with another officer or a detective at the time, and he's here today for his waiver, and he will be going to Cleveland State if you approve his waiver in January. All my schools have SROs, and all of them are SRO certified. And all the deputies are certified.
Okay, anything else you want to add or talk about?
We've been working hard, moving forward, and I believe we're making great strides. And I appreciate you taking the time to have me back up here to hear how we're doing.
Questions of the board? If not, we'll ask the post investigator to give his last 30-day report.
Good morning, Investigator Cantrell. So in reviewing the files to make sure that we've got everything in a CADIS and going through last month's meeting, there's been some false information that's been put out over the last couple of months to the commission. In the September meeting, the commission was told that all the paperwork issues have been resolved already. That wasn't entirely true. We still have never received any pre-employments on deputies who have been hired and separated since Sheriff Gunner took office last year. The commission was told that Sean Norris had already been separated from Grundy County Sheriff's Office in a CADIS at the last meeting. I found a couple weeks ago that he wasn't actually separated in a CADIS until Sunday, September 17th, which was 2 days after the meeting. Also, the commission was told last month that Chief King was no longer the chief. Since then, I received several phone calls and have documentation showing that not to be true. He's been out doing law enforcement activities and signing official documents as Chief Deputy Brandon King. I also asked Investigator Brown a week before last who their acting chief was, and she had told me that per Sheriff Gunner, it's still Chief King. He's listed in a CADIS as being a sergeant, but I have a capias and a misdemeanor citation where he signed it just a couple weeks ago that he served on somebody where he signed both of them as Chief Deputy King. The mayor's office has provided me with information saying that they have never received a change of status on him going from chief to sergeant. So his pay level is still the same as a chief. When I talked with the clerk's office, they have told me that everybody that's on the Brady Giglio list is still out performing law enforcement duties, making cases on people,
They haven't complied with the rules of the Brady Giglio list. Post has received a letter from the district attorney addressing the issues that have been going on. I believe that's in your packets. Initially last month, the commission was told that Mr. Collins was waiting until the commission meeting to go through the registration process and pay his tuition at Cleveland State. Once the sheriff was questioned about that, it changed to he was waiting until, or initially it was that he had already paid, and then it changed to he was waiting. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. He was waiting for the commission meeting last month, and then it changed to he had already paid prior to coming to Grundy County. I have paid a visit to Cleveland State and spoken with the staff there. And as of last Friday, the information that I'd gotten was that he didn't even apply to the school until September 25th, which is 10 days after the commission meeting last month. And as of this morning, the secretary at Cleveland State told me that she still hasn't received all of his pre-employment paperwork. She's still waiting on a medical and psych eval. And just this week, I got a copy of CAD reports just from October 1st until I believe 2 days ago. And it's evident on the CAD reports, there's times where he is responding to calls with other officers. And then it's evident that at times he is responding by himself to calls. I'll take any questions you have.
Questions of the board?
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized.
Mr. Isbell, and perhaps a rebuttal from the sheriff that the reports continue to be very troubling. And I make a motion that this move to a formal hearing for decertification of Sheriff Buckner.
I have a motion on the floor. Commissioner Isbell's made a motion to move all matters to a formal hearing for decertification.
Commissioner Green, I would tell you that on the honesty issues alone, it would be something that in an agency, it would be termination and decertification. So I'll second this motion.
I have a second on this motion by Commissioner Green. Now, do we have discussion? You're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, can we hear a rebuttal from the sheriff on this? And also, I think he brought counsel with him too.
Sure, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. So we'll start with Kyle Collins. I was under the wrong impression. I did not tell this council purposely that he had already signed for Cleveland State. That was my understanding when Mr. Kyle's come to the department. I was wrong on that information. Mr. Collins just now confirmed that information to me. I did not purposely or intentionally lie to this department. Kyle Collins is not answering calls by himself. He may get on the CAD and say 11 responding, but usually in the mornings, just about every time he gets on the radio, he'll say who he's riding with that day. And so Mr. Collins is not working by himself. And we have tried multiple times, and it was told to me by my staff that was working with the Cadis that they have removed Sean Norris. So that's the reason why I told you that. Sean Norris is gone. We've been working diligently on this Cadis. Now I'm doing the best job I can with what I have for the citizens of Grundy County. And then as far as the Giglio list, I will let my attorney, if you'll let him speak, address you on the Giglio list, please.
Before we have the attorney, this is Commissioner Green again.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, every time you come before the board, you said all these things are resolved, but the investigator keeps coming back and saying, here are all these issues that aren't resolved.
Sir, I'm going off of what my Cadis people are telling me, sir. And I have my Cadis person here with me, which is Captain Delk, and he can answer to any questions to that, sir.
But you're the head of the agency.
That is correct, sir.
And when you're reporting something out, it should be accurate.
That is correct, sir, and I trust what my people are telling me. I do not
If they're
work
not
in the
telling you
Cadis,
the
I don't
complete
know.
truth, how are you handling it?
Well, after they've come back from a Cadis, I ask them every day what our Cadis status is. And we went off every one of the audits and addressed everything that was in that audit, sir. And I asked them on a daily, probably most of the time, twice daily, where we're at on the Cadis. And they reassure me that we're where we're supposed to be at this time, sir.
That's all I had.
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized.
I've got a few questions. I guess we'll start with Sergeant Norris. He was resigned or terminated from your agency?
He resigned.
Was that under an active investigation?
Yes, sir, that was.
Based on the findings, I guess, of your investigation and what was done in Georgia, do you think your department would move to have him decertified in the state of Tennessee?
I don't know if I would move to have him decertified, sir. He had no charges, and the state of Tennessee did to certify him. If I had to do it again, I probably would not hire him just because of the turmoil and the uncertainty that it's caused for our department, sir.
I guess I have a question for Mr. Collins, but also on Chief Deputy King. I want to make sure there's no confusion. Was Chief Deputy King demoted to sergeant?
Chief Deputy King stepped down. As I told this board last time, he stepped down and was promoted down to sergeant. I'm actually interviewing people, so he's just acting chief. He's not the assigned chief. That's the reason why in the Cadis it still says sergeant. It don't say chief anymore. He's just acting chief, so I have somebody there until I promote somebody or hire somebody in, sir.
So he voluntarily demoted to sergeant, not as a result of the investigation?
That is correct, sir.
What was the findings of that investigation?
According to the way General Lynch explains it, he wasn't found guilty, but he wasn't found innocent. According to our internal affairs investigation, he was found to have no wrongdoing, sir.
Okay.
And the TBI and the and General Lynch's investigator was there, sir, along with his attorney, Mr. Tidwell, was there as well, sir.
Okay. But he is now acting chief deputy.
He's just acting. He is not assigned to that position, no, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Collins, is he here?
Yes, sir, he is.
Could I ask him a question real quick?
Yes, sir, you sure could.
Thank you for coming. I understand you're here for a waiver.
Yes, sir.
Have you responded to any calls as a single officer unit?
To full transparency, in the beginning, when I first came to Grundy County for a few days, I did respond, not by myself, but I did respond to another unit on scene in a separate vehicle. Immediately, the sheriff told me that was not going to be something that would be allowed. Since that time, I have responded to every call with an officer. I think one of the instances that Investigator Cantrell was speaking of, I was made aware there was a CAD where I transported, it shows on the CAD, if you just read the CAD notes, that I transported 2 DTF or SDs to our jail. That's going to be a dispatch error. I was actually in the car with Deputy Waco that day. I did use my call sign on the radio. I'm Unit 11 for the county, but we were in the same vehicle and we transported both prisoners at the same time. It was witnessed by us arriving on scene at the same time by 4 DTF agents as well as the investigator for the DA's office, George. We clarified that with investigator over email. I do believe some of the confusion is that when we communicate, since that time we spoke with the investigator and we've been utilizing, I'll use their call number instead of mine. So if, for instance, they ask me to call something out, I'll say 14 or 7 instead of my number to avoid confusion on the radio. On the CADs, it still shows other officers on the second page that are present for the call. But when I was using my number, because I am familiar in the county, people know who I am, they were putting my number and my name as it appeared potentially that I was the only person on the call.
But you've had a certified officer in the vehicle with you?
Correct. I was paired with Chief Investigator Tracy Brown. That was part of my request to be able to work with her because she has no issues or findings with post or the DA's office. I was hoping that would be a benefit to me to avoid any further issues with me trying to continue a law enforcement career. I have worked with Jacob Nunley. I have worked with Les Turner. He's an investigator. I've worked with Captain Delk, who's present today. I've even worked with Brandon King, who's with us. But I no longer respond to calls by myself.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Further questions? All right, I have a motion on the floor.
Commissioner Wright.
Excuse me.
I've got a question.
I mean, you're not recognized yet, Commissioner Wright.
For Sheriff, is Sergeant King being paid as a sergeant or as a chief?
Right now, his pay has not been changed, no, sir. That's because he's just acting, and we've not made the change in the payroll yet.
Commissioner Green again, and Sheriff, I guess it's just hard for me to understand when you say he's acting as a chief, he's being paid as a chief. To me, that sounds like he's a chief.
Well, sir, I'm sorry if that's misleading, but he is not. He has officially been stepped down. It was made notice and publicly to our department and to other personnel as well.
And he's signing documents as chief.
Yes, sir, while he's still acting chief. We're hoping to have our new chief in position either this week or next week. I'm just waiting on an answer from him.
Sheriff, when you got elected, in that time between the time of the election and the time you actually took office, did people call you sheriff?
No, sir, they did not.
But they're still calling this man a chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
You're recognized, Commissioner Beverly.
You said you've officially announced he's a sergeant?
Yes, sir, I have.
What does his shirt say right now?
It still says chief deputy, sir.
Thank you.
Further questions? I'll call for the vote. Chair's gonna call for a roll call vote on the motions.
Before we move on, can we speak about the Giglio list, please?
No, sir, we cannot. We're not going to get into that. Post Commission has no power over the Gigolo. That'll be something that'll have to be taken up with whatever proceedings you have. We recognize that stuff's there, but Sheriff, we don't. The Gigolo has no bearing with this board other than to give you advice on maybe questions you may have later on how to handle some things.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The motion is to?
Motion to go over the board. The motion has been made and seconded to move forward and schedule a formal hearing. Again, I will say a formal hearing is what the motion was for decertification. And I will call for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Halsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Isbell.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Russell.
Yes.
Commissioner Spangler.
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner.
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Faulkner.
Yes.
And Chairman Parton.
Abstain.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. The legal services of the Post Commission will be looking into scheduling, I would assume.
I will tell you that there is, under the rules, being found to acquiesce to false information being supplied to the commission regarding eligibility for certification. So if that's what the commission, that appears to be the only grounds on which we would move to a formal. Now, there's also the option of moving this to an informal. Of course, that would be only before the subcommittee. That's an option, but I think the motion has been to move it to a full commission.
I think from my observation, we've had like 3 informals dealing and asking them questions, and I think that's reasonable. Is that my understanding? Even though it wasn't scheduled as informal, but we're just starting to get into details of hearing issues.
I understand. I wouldn't describe those as informals, just not to be
right. I get it.
But just to explain what an informal versus what we've been doing over the past few months with essentially old business that keeps coming up is correct at the heel of each agenda.
What would be the timeline so that the sheriff could be preparing?
Well, we'd probably be looking sometime potentially next year, January, February.
Okay.
A formal can't be heard any sooner than 30 days from the time that it's filed with the Administrative Procedures Division of the Secretary of State. So sort of balancing in a number of things between attorney schedules and not so much my schedule, but the Respondents Council's schedule, and then what the ALJ's availability are.
Could we shoot that we look at maybe January availability as being the seriousness of we're dealing with an elected official, and the citizens of Grundy County probably want something up or down, closure, whatever it may be that they desire. I feel that we have a due diligence for a fair process, but the time enough to let the sheriff prepare his case.
And that might even push it back farther than January. That could just be when the notice of hearing and charges is filed, there is a date that's tentatively placed on the notice, and then if there's any discovery request or whatnot, but we can get it scheduled. Okay. I think January would be reasonable.
Okay. You understand, Sheriff, that they will be in contact with you, and this will not be heard no sooner than 60 days, but I would say it would probably be further out.
I have a question.
Go ahead, you recognize.
It's a legal question, I guess. Since we haven't scheduled an informal, I guess this question for, does that, how does that stand with us as far as going straight to informal?
Well, I mean, we generally do, the commission usually hears informals that are set by the full-time staff. There's no, as far as any procedural due process problems, there's nothing wrong with going to the formal. I mean, if you think about it, sometimes that's the result of our informals, right? Or it's just,
I know that, but I mean, if that's a step left out, then that's not fair to the sheriff or anybody else.
The informal, I mean, it's just something that I think that for a point of efficiency over the years, best I can tell that we've done here, to just, that's how we move alleged officer misconduct that comes to post.
It's not mandatory.
It's not mandated that we do that.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? If not, we will move on to the next item on the agenda.
Well, we have the 6-month waiver.
Yes, that's what we're going to get to. So now we'll move to the 6-month waiver for Joseph Kyle Collins of Grundy County Sheriff's Office. Waiver to attend Cleveland State Community College Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Commissioner Wright, I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second is one.
Have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm going to abstain. So it'll be one abstention for the record. New business for discussion. We're showing that we have none.
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized.
I guess before we go, so on the matter of Grundy County, we still have the outstanding salary supplement issues we discussed last month of, I believe it's 2 deputies that were supposed to be paid that supplement based on their work status, but the cadence was not updated, just so we can work towards getting those 2 individuals paid.
So it was 3 deputies. It was Jackson Franks, Brandon Voss, and Brandon Deffendahl. Those pre-employment applications were sent to our office. There was issues with some of those pre-employment packets, so what I would submit to the board, some of those things, they have been employed and have left Grundy County. So there was missing fingerprints, missing psychologicals, medical forms. So it would be up to the board as to whether or not they want to move forward and approve those with packets that are incomplete, that we can't say for sure that they met pre-employment standards while they were working with Grundy County. So I would submit that to you to consider.
At this point, I would just make a motion to defer that then.
A second.
Have a motion and a second to defer to reference those stipends for those officers for Grundy County. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. So we're clear on all that. Okay. We'll be moving on to public comments. I would ask that anybody that has public comment, I understand we have some that want to comment. We'll give you 3 minutes. Whoever wants to come first, if you would, identify yourself, please.
Yes, sir. My name's Jerry Tidwell. I'm an attorney from Chattanooga. Thank you for this opportunity. I represent Wade Cobble, Kevin Smith, Kyle Collins, and Brandon King relative to the listing on the Giglio Brady list. And I understand what you said, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. I just wanted to go on the record to say I was here and that I'm meeting with General Lynch along with Mr. Humble next week in hopes of resolving that. I would say this. My clients, Wade Cobble and Kevin Smith, were told in personal meeting with General Lynch and Steve Strain that the reason they were listed is because of the post-commission audit report, and the post-commission would have to retract that to get them off of it. And I think that's a misunderstanding on our part. I just want to make sure you understand that, so you know that's one of the problems they're facing in trying to work through this, is that they're being told they have to get something I don't think they can get. I can't imagine this board being not involved in Brady Giglio would then tell the DA to take people off of it. So that's one of the problems. We're going to try to work through that, but I wanted to get that on the record because I think there's been Brady Giglio is complicated. I'm not going to try to go into it, but it's a burden and duty on the DA to give exculpatory information to criminal defense lawyers, and that's what it is. The creation of a list is their choice. However, there are legal specific hurdles that have to be cleared by the district attorney or by the criminal defense lawyer to get that evidence, even be allowed to ask about it in a trial. So I just want y'all to be aware of that. I think you've addressed the things I came here to speak to. I thank you. I don't think any of my clients will be speaking. They've indicated to me they've just let me speak. So if those names are Kevin Smith or Brandon King or any of my other clients, I think we can move past them if that's agreeable, gentlemen. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you to the whole commission for this opportunity.
Anybody else?
Can I make something clear, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, you're recognized. If you don't mind, identify yourself, sir.
Sergeant Brandon King. Come up about my shirt. We try to do the best we can with our uniform budget. We've not ordered no more. I do have sergeant polos that was ordered, and they come in as extra large. As you can see, I'm not that big yet, but still, I got the dad bod, I guess you can say. But the sheriff has told our staff that I am sergeant. I have been working patrol. I've been working a split shift 12 to 12, and that was my decision to step down because my experience for being chief deputy, I don't think I had the years experience to be chief deputy. I work outstanding on patrol. I've never, done anything out of the way on patrol or as a chief deputy. Me and the sheriff had a long talk about it. I feel that somebody that's for chief deputy needs to be more experienced than me. I've been doing it close to 10 years. I don't think that's enough time to be chief deputy, in my opinion. I grew up, there's a lot of older guys as chief deputy, no respect to the older men here, I respect y'all. But that was my decision, and the decision was that I was going to go back to K-9. We're in the process of buying a K-9 also, so that was completely my decision. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Recognized.
My name is Kevin Smith. Two things I just wanted to clear up. Throughout this whole investigation that's went on by post investigator, I've never spoke to him. Not one time have I ever been spoke to about any of the incidences that were claimed that I was accused of. The other thing was that he stated that people on the Brady Gilligan list are still making cases. All due respect, I've not made one case, not a single one. Not since that was spoken to at this board.
Anything else? You're recognized.
I know my attorney's, I'm Kyle Collins with Grundy County Sheriff's Office. My attorney's probably I told him I wasn't going to talk. One of the things I wanted to mention, and I'm happy to work with you in any way possible to clear up any issues. I was actually notified already that I have been accepted again to Cleveland State. I received actually the TN Reconnect, so the academy won't cost me anything but $150. I have that email in writing. If you do need a copy of that, I'm happy to provide it to you. In speaking with Catherine, which I'm think who you spoke with, the only thing I was advised via email that I needed for her to be reinstated for the January academy was an updated psych evaluation, which I have completed. Again, I can provide you a copy of that, and a new physical. Aside from that, all my paperwork was properly turned in. There was nothing else that was requested. She had my PSID number that was provided by the commission here as well. If there's missing something, it's something I'm not aware of, and I'm happy to address and resolve that. It is my goal to abide by anything that the commission, the sheriff's office asks me to do. I don't have any, smoke and mirrors, anything of that nature. I have a very good job that I do full-time for a living. It is my passion to be a law enforcement officer. I was with Monte Eagle Police Department as a reserve before I came over to the county with zero issues on my record at that time. I live in Grundy County. I'm in Grundy County for 7 years. I married into the county. I felt it was something that I could help to make things better. I could help clear up some issues. I could help be data entry, timers, whatever. I actually am timer certified. I went to school for that. I helped with Tracy with timers. My goal was to help correct issues, not to become an issue for the sheriff. That's all I have to say today.
Thank you. Anything else? Any further business with the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
You feel like you're